Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. So today's video is about a popular scam that a lot of people seem to think it's okay to keep doing to people, especially like my friends who own forecourts and garages and trying to make money from selling cars, or you as an innocent person going to buy a car. And I want to bring this up because a lot of people are not aware of this popular scam that keeps happening, and there's a lot of people that actually keep losing their cars. And as I said, this isn't just for BMW, this is for all cars, because of the fact I will go over why people target any specific car and what price range they actually target for this popular scam.
What? Goddamn, get it done, will ya? Woo. When the blow up now, everybody's so unusual with it. Shit. But said times in his rhymes, cause his memories. We running through New York, so you know.
Okay, so if many of you guys don't know, I got a lot of friends in the trade business. Majority of them sell cars. And then we have the certain people like yourself who goes out and buys a car genuinely and actually trust the person you're buying it from. Now, that's not to say everyone's foolish here, and that's not to say everyone's very trusting as some people are. But there is a lot of trusting people, especially a lot of women. It's because a lot of women who are single go out and purchase cars, not knowing anything about them, end up just buying the car, not aware of what that car might actually have on it, and then only to find out their car is being removed from them. So the first scam I want to talk to you about, which many of you guys probably be aware of, some of you might not, is what we like to call the credit card scam. This is where someone will go to a forecourt and try and buy a 9 or 10 grand car. Now the reason they only target 9 to 10 grand, and I'll explain to you right now, is very, very simple. A lot of these people that go to forecourts to buy these cars will use their cousins or their wife's cousin's credit card. They will go in and purchase the car on the credit card. They've got a 10 grand limit. Everything's fine. Obviously, everyone takes card these days. Nobody thinks any of the wiser. They will purchase the car, then say to the trader, they're a trader themselves, they're buying the car because they want to resell it. They'll give them the whole V5C. Now, as many of you guys know, in the UK, the V5C isn't proof of ownership. And if any of you from the US ask what the V5C is, it's basically the title. But here, it's all debatable whether it's proof of ownership or it's not. They say insurance is, but when it suits them, V5C is proof of ownership. You know, it's all about whatever suits them at the time when they come. Now then, what they do is they'll get their cousins, or so on to call up the credit card company and report a chargeback. Now, bearing in mind, credit card companies are obliged to do a chargeback. These people will say they were away or their credit card was stolen, they never gave permission for it to be used, and they will get the money back. But they don't do that straight away. No. They will list the car for sale at an even cheaper price. For instance, if they paid the car is worth 9 grand, these people will list it for 6.5 to make it sound more appealing and to get rid of it quickly. They will then pocket that 6.5 grand, then ring their credit card company, dispute the payment, and get the card money back on their card. Now, bearing in mind, the person whose card it was ain't in trouble because someone else actually used their card wrongfully. That person doesn't end up being caught, and that dealer is then out of pocket. And that's why, if many of you guys have probably noticed, a lot of forecourts put their car prices up higher, and that's not because of they want to, it's to protect themselves and to stop certain people coming to buy their cars. Because a lot of credit cards these days can have 9 to 10 grand limits, some of them even 20 grand, but the ones with 20 grand are probably more trusted. The ones with 9 to 10 grand are usually the ones trying to target these 10 grand cars and then trying to resell them cheaper outside and get the money back on the credit card. And that is what they go around doing for year upon year, day upon day, using other people's credit cards to buy the car, take the logbook, they'll say they're a trader, so they get the whole thing so they don't have to wait for it, so they can sell it straight away. Now, I know someone this has already happened to, and it was not a nice experience already. They had police follow them back to their house. By the time they got out the car, the people were telling them that their car had been reported stolen by the forecourt. Now, obviously, the person didn't buy it from the forecourt, they bought it from the guys that actually done the credit card scam itself to the forecourt. But obviously the forecourt has all right to report the car as stolen because it therefore hasn't been paid for. But they sold it onto this person. They'd made their money back from their credit card. They made double the profit. Now, bearing in mind, this wasn't an expensive car. This was only 2.5 grand car, but it just shows you how easy it is to be done and how these people can actually make free money outside. Therefore, do be advised that a lot of traders are aware of this scam, and if they catch you doing it, they have all right to take you out the back and put you downstairs in the basement and lock you up. As far as I'm concerned, if you're trying to do that, you deserve all the punishment that's going to come your way. Okay, so that brings me to my next one now. Now this is the one that's going to affect a lot of you guys, and especially a lot of women. Now this one really gets on my nerves, and this one is a very popular scam, especially in the UK, that people are using. This one is the logbook loan scam. And this is where a lot of people will take a logbook loan on the car, okay? Then what they will do is they'll put the car up for sale, either on eBay, Gumtree, wherever. Now, on a logbook loan, you're never gonna get much compared to the car, depending on the car and how much it's worth in the first place and based on the mileage, but it's still money that they've taken against the car. And obviously the car is on finance and that person don't own it. Now, you're probably thinking, how are they getting away with that when the logbook is taken? All they will do is ring DVLA, pay the £25, because what's £25, get another logbook or V5C sent to them, which is the title. They will then make that person believe them and trust them to the point they won't even do a HPI check. And most people, especially if it's £1-2 grand car, nobody's gonna think to run a HPI check. And that's purely because, bearing in mind it's only a £2 grand car, they're not expecting it to be on finance because it's an old car. But I assure you, the majority of the people that do these logbook loans do them on £2 to £3 grand cars. They don't do them on high value cars because they know people are gonna run a HPI check. Now also what they do is they try and make you believe they're very trusting and very nice, so you don't actually run a HPI check. They'll also tell you they've already run a HPI check because they've only had the car a month or 2 weeks, and they will actually have that for when you actually come buy it. Then they'll say to you the reason they're sending it is it was the wrong car for them, it don't suit them, or it's too expensive for them, or their license has just been taken away. They'll give you some sorry story to make you guys actually believe it. You guys won't be any of the wiser. They'll send you proof of their HPI that they did 2 weeks prior to that, and that was because they were planning to take a logbook loan, or they could take it just a day before they did the logbook loan, and the next day they're actually listing it for sale. You guys will actually trust it because you'll think, why spend money on HPI when they've already done it? And one of you guys will end up with a car on finance. Now this is as bad as it comes, because when you guys actually buy that, you will end up taking ownership for that car. You won't be aware of the logbook loan, and neither will the owner alert you to it, and you will fall liable for that debt on that car. So you either have 2 options. The logbook loan company will track you down and make you pay the debt that's on the car, or they will either repossess the car from you. You have 2 options. Both ways you're gonna lose. You're either gonna lose money or you're gonna pay more for that car in the first place. Obviously, the previous owner won't have no action taken against him because he don't own the car. He's got his money, he's gone and bought the other car that he wanted, regardless if he took a grand, that logbook loan, and he sold that car to you, he's made 3 grand, so you go and buy a better car. And that's how it works, and that's what a lot of people do. They'll take whatever against the logbook loan, sell the car for whatever, and go and buy a better car than what they sold you. That is how it works. So these are the 2 scams a lot of you need to be aware of. Always keep your wits about you, be suspicious and be cautious when buying any kind of car, especially online, from anyone. It doesn't matter who they are. They could be the biggest celebrity. Do not trust them, because even celebrities fail on their finance and end up having repossession orders. So do not believe anybody who's selling a car, because that person could be in debt. That's why the reason they're selling it, or it could have a marker against it, or it could be wanted by the police. You just don't know. Therefore, always run your HPI checks. And that's purely because a HPI check is updated daily. So even if someone done one 3 days ago, it could have something on there from the day today or the day before that. And therefore, you won't actually know, and you could be buying a car and buying a lemon that you might end up losing later down the line, and losing all your money in the process. So I hope this video is actually going to help a lot of you guys when you go to actually buy a car, and also the ones that want to pull scams to local traders and try and scam them and think it's funny or think it's clever. I know everyone's out there trying to make their money, but that's a scam that many people are aware of. And trust me, a lot of these traders have things in place where they will try and get you back. And trust me, you don't want to end up going back there to most of them, because they're not going to be very lenient with you when you do go back, or when they do get hold of you. So thank you very much for watching, guys. It's BMW Dr. Dean here, and goodbye.